All right, well, this is going to be something I've never done before. You subscribers of mine, you probably saw the video working on this four-wheeler seat, and you know the backstory of it. But what's going on here is I bought a brand new Aero electric stapler. I'm having a lot of trouble with this hand stapler, and so I'm going to do an unboxing, more or less. I don't do anything on camera hardly. This is a brand new box, haven't been in it yet. This is the Aero, oh heck, what's that say? T50 AC-R. This came from Home Depot. This had a lot of really good reviews. This had better reviews than a DeWalt stapler for the same money. So it takes, really kind of happy to see that it takes the T50 staples, which are, they got to be the most common type of staple that you can find at the hardware stores. These old staplers take a T50. These new shiny ones take a T50, and the hammer tackers, you see guys, roofers up on the roof putting down felt, they all take that T50. So I'm glad to see that. So I'm going to get this out of the box, and you can see, to compare this new one to an old one, this is a decent functioning spring-loaded stapler. They're all kind of junk. They're not good for much more than cardboard or roofing felt, and you can see how well it's doing putting staples in this hard plastic seat pan. It's doing a pretty pathetic job. These staples are not being driven in all the way. The ones that are flattened down the most are because I pounded them with a hammer. Very, very poor job of stapling. You see how far that one's sticking up. So we're going to compare those old staples from that one to the same staples out of this gun. I'm going to get this out of the box and get it plugged in. We'll go from there. Well, I opened up the box. There were 2 packs of silica in there, the desiccant. This was in there just the way you see it. It's unzipped now. I had to unzip it, so it was all zipped up in the package. And then when I flip this open, looks like an instruction manual, another pack of desiccant. So that's probably a good idea to keep in there all the time. Can't hurt, right? Let's see, the thing looks like it's held in fairly well with some Velcro here. Nice long cord, a lot longer than the last electric stapler I had. I think that last one was a Craftsman. It had a cord that was only about 4 inches long, so you had to use an extension cord. This doesn't look like you'd need an extension cord. That's a good long cord. Looks like a pretty simple operation here. Got the on and off. Load it from the back just like your other staple gun. I don't see any kind of power adjustment, so probably it just drives them all the same depth. The old Craftsman I had, I think it had a knob on top. You could turn it for more or less power. So kind of a rubberized. I really don't like that. That shit breaks down over time and gets real sticky, so I'm not crazy about this rubberized stuff on here. The red does not have that, but the black is. We'll see how that holds up over time. I'm gonna load this thing up with staples. I probably can't do that with one hand. So same sort of, okay, that thing doesn't come all the way out, so it looks like you just drop some staples on top of the little carriage there and push it in. I'm gonna get this, get some staples put in here. We'll use, we'll try 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch is what was in that seat originally. Looked like from the factory, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put some 1/4 inch staples on here. Now, I'm gonna take 2 hands to do this. I'm gonna load this staples in there and I'm gonna plug it in, and we'll see how it does. Okay, upon reading the instructions briefly, the staples get dropped in from the bottom, and then you push the tray in to close that up. Well, I've fired a few staples with this thing with a 1/4 inch, and they drove in better than the spring-loaded outfit did. This is a 1/4 inch. Actually, these 3 here are 1/4 inch. And you can see that compared to what the old stapler did. This was actually a 5/16 from the old one. The old one, it didn't matter if they were 1/4 or 5/16. If they went in very poorly. So these are 1/4 inch, and these are going to need a little love tap with a hammer to seat them all the way. I'm really not thrilled about that. I went ahead and switched to 5/16 staples to see what it would do, and it seems like the 5/16 are driven in. These three here, 5/16, they're driven in as good as or slightly better than it drove the 1/4 inch. Again, it wouldn't hurt for a little love tap with a hammer, so I am not overly impressed with the job this is doing. It is sufficient. I think it'll do a good enough job. It's doing a far better job than that old spring-loaded stapler did. So it should be good enough for this job. I am a little disappointed that for $60 it won't drive a staple all the way home. So, features on this thing though, like I say, it loads from the bottom. You open up the little tray, you drop them in on the top, the staples. It has a low indicator light here. This is green because it has a full row of staples in it. It's supposed to, I think it's supposed to turn red when you're out of or low on staples. It also had that LED work light, which is, I guess, a handy feature here. This is the on and off switch. So it's sufficient for now. I've driven about 8 staples. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of this project, and we'll see what my thoughts are after finishing. Oh, I'll probably put another 50 staples in this. Well, the more I use this thing, the less I like it. I can't tell the difference between old crappy staples and the new staples. There are about 5 new staples mixed in with the old crappy ones there. So this thing is doing a very, very poor job again. I'm going to continue, and we'll see how bad this gets. Well, I finished up my small project here, and overall, I'm not sure that I'm satisfied with this tool. It did a slightly better job than the spring-loaded stapler. If you'll remember, this is an ATV seat. So this seat came off of that ATV. I'm recovering the seat with vinyl, which is should be no problem at all for a stapler to staple. The seat pan itself is made of a very hard plastic. That may be causing issues a little bit. There may be a portion of this seat pan right in through here. No staples will really penetrate. Some of those are 1/4 inch, some of those are 5/16, some of them are out of spring-loaded gun, and some of them are out of this electric gun. I can't get any staples to really penetrate that area. If you'll recall also, this seat pan, the perimeter was already stapled using the spring-loaded gun. I went back over it with the electric gun, and for the most part, you almost can't tell the difference from one gun to the other. So if I had to rate this on a 5-star basis, I would probably give this maybe a 2.5. Of course, that I would give a 1. So to give you an idea there, guys, I am not thrilled with this, especially for $60, and the amount of a tremendous amount of good reviews on this. This had better and more reviews than the DeWalt stapler sold by Home Depot, and those reviews are what put me over the top to buy this. I'm going to speculate here. You know, you read things on the internet, you hear the news stories. I'm going to speculate that possibly those reviews, that flood of good reviews on this unit, may have been by a marketing company that was hired to create positive reviews. That's just a speculation. I am not thrilled with it. I may even take this back. This is kind of pathetic. For $60, it should have done a better job than this. So again, this was the Arrow T50 AC-R stapler that I picked up at Home Depot.